Good afternoon everyone, I'm Gomati Thayalan. Today I will be presenting on the relevance of the national education philosophy in shaping balanced human development. This study focuses on how the NEP nurtures individual holistically and its impact on education, student and society as a whole. So the background of the study is the National Education Philosophy or NEP was introduced in 1988 to shape well-balanced individuals. It focused on four key aspects: intellectual, spiritual, and emotional and physical development. This is NEP core principle. The NEP is built on several core principles which includes the first one is developing individuals who are intellectually and morally strong. The second is instilling a deep sense of social responsibility and national identity. The third one is ensuring holistic education and integrates religions, cultures and values. By following these principles, the NEP aims to create a generation that is prepared to face both personal and national challenges. The next is problem statement. Some of the key issues include lack of awareness. Many students do not fully understand the goal of the NEP, which affect their intellectual, emotional and spiritual development. The second one is engagement issues. Without proper engagement, students may not apply NEP values in their daily lives, reducing its impact on their personal and academic growth. These issues highlight their need for better communication and integration of NEP principle into the education. The impact of misunderstanding. When students do not fully grasp the NEP, it can lead to several problems. The first one is intellectual development. Without a proper understanding, students may struggle with critical thinking and problem solving skills, which are essential for balanced growth. The second one is emotional and social growth. A weak understanding of NEP principle can limit students' emotion and maturity and social responsibility, bridging the gaps. To address these challenges, there are two key solutions. First is effective communication. Educators must be better methods to explain the NEP to students, making it more relatable and applicable to their daily life. The second one is curriculum enhancement. The curriculum should be adjusted to ensure the NEP principle and effectively integrated into teaching and learning. So now is research objective. This study focuses on three main objectives. First one is assessing student knowledge, evaluating how well students understand the NEP and its principle. The second one is improving effectiveness, identify ways to enhance the integration of NEP values in education. The third one is education trends, analyzing current and future trends in education that aligns with NEP holistic development and goals. Next is significance of the study. The finding of this study will provide valuable insight of various stakeholders, educators, helping them evaluate whether the current curriculum effectively conveys NEP's principle. The second one is policy makers, assisting in identify and addressing curriculum gaps to improve NEP implementation. The national education philosophy is essential for shaping well-rounded individuals who contribute positively to the society. However, challenges remain in its implementation, particularly in student awareness and the engagement. By improving communication, enhancing the curriculum, we can ensure that NEP principles are effectively integrated to the education.
Hi everyone, my name is Surya. Today we'll be exploring research methodologies in educational studies and how they help ensure reliable and valid research. Now that we understand the importance of research methodology, let's discuss how to align it with our research questions. Step 1 is to defining the research problem. Clearly identifying this issue helps determine the necessary evidence and the most effective methodological approach. Next, select a methodology that aligns with your research questions. For examples, in educational philosophy studies, survey designs help capture trends across diverse students' population. Finally, reducing bias is crucial. Implementing methodological control during data collection, analysis, and interpretation enhance the credibility and applicability of findings. Now, focus on survey design, a crucial tool in educational research. So the step 1 will be proposed definition. So first we define the survey's purpose. For instance, in the National Educational Philosophy study, the goal was to analyze its influence across diverse students' population. Step 2 is questionnaire structure. Next, designing an effective questionnaire involves three key components: demographic data, core content assessment, and perspective gathering. This ensures a well-rounded data collection process. So lastly, the step 3 will be implementation strategy. So lastly, consistent administration is vital. Standardizing survey distribution across all participant groups reduces bias and strengthens the study's validity. To ensure the accuracy and reliability of educational research, we must carefully define our population and apply effective sampling technique. So the step 1, first we must clearly define our target population. So in educational philosophy studies, this often includes students within specific age range and institutional setting. So the step 2 is sample selection. So selecting an appropriate sampling method requires careful consideration of research objective, the characteristics of population and available resources. And step 3 will sample size determination. Determining the optimal sample size involves balancing statistical power with practical constraints. For educational philosophy studies, representativeness across diverse students' demography is the key. And finally, research must evaluate how well the selected sample represents the target population to ensure the findings and be generalized accurately. For example, our study focused on high school students aged 13 to 25 with a sample of 25 students across various schools. Collecting data the right way is important for accurate research. Here are the three key methods to use in educational studies. So the first key is survey implementation. Second is social media distribution, and third one will be data quality control. In educational research, data is measured using three main scales. Nominal scale categorize data without any order, like classifying students by school type. Ordinal scale rank items but don't show exact difference between them, such as ranking student certification. And finally is interval scale, use numbers with equal gaps between values like test scores. Choosing the right scale helps research analyze data accurately and draw meaningful conclusions. And then, closed-ended questions help researchers gather structured data. They make response easier to compare and analyze, which is multiple choice, where it will fixed answer questions, useful for testing, acknowledge and gathering demographic data. Linked scale, so measures agreement and disagreement with statement, often used to assess opinions. Ranking questions requires respondent to arrange item based on preference or importance. We'll cover four main areas: methodology, questions, alignment, sampling, measurement and implementation. So first, it's important to choose research method that matches the research questions. This helps ensure the data collected is useful and relevant to the study. Next, selecting the right sample is crucial. The sample should represent different student backgrounds to get more accurate picture of the recent topic. And accurate measurement is also key. Using the right measurement scale ensures reliable data, making the study results more meaningful. Finally, applying consistent data collection method helps reduce error and bias. This makes the research finding more trustworthy.
Hi everyone, I'm Dun Jongmin. Now, I and Rashwin will present about the finding and analysis. Let's move on to the part A, background information about the respondent. So in this part, we will going out to find out what is the age of the participant. So we will categorize into four, which is below 18, 18 to 20, 21 to 23, and above 23. So in this participant, we can find out that 40% of participants were in the age of 18 to 20, while another 60% will be the 21 to 23. Next is the level of education. So in 25 participants, you have 40% of the participants are pre-university or foundations category, and 60% of participants will belongs to secondary school category. Third is the how long will be exposed to the NEP, how they know the NEP. So about four category we made, which is less than 1 year, 1 to 3 year, 4 to 6 year, or more than 6 year. So 24% of participants have a shorter exposure, which is just in 1 to 3 years, while 76% will have a longer experience, which is 4 to 6 years.
My name is Rashwin. So today I'm going to present about part B, that is understanding and application of the NEP. Okay. If you look there, are you familiar with the National Education Philosophy, NEP? So if you look on the graph, that is pie chart or figure 4, let's go for details. Okay, the graph present feedback on awareness of the National Education Philosophy, that is NEP stands for. A total of 25 responses were collected, like I told you, divided into 3 categories. Like I told you, 12% have no knowledge of the NEP, 28% have some knowledge, and 60% have a strong knowledge. The majority of respondents are well informed about the NEP. A small portion has limited understanding or no awareness. The survey likely aim to assess participants' awareness and understanding of the NEP. Findings help evaluate how effectively the NEP has been communicated and implemented. Identifying awareness level can guide further educational or outreach initiatives. Next is, how will you describe your understanding of the NEP's core principle? Figure 5. A total of 25 responses were collected, divided into 2 groups. That is 60% display a strong understanding and 20% reflect a weaker grasp. So most participants feel confident in understanding the NEP's principles. A smaller fraction may need further clarification or educational. The survey likely aimed to assess the depth of comprehension of the NEP. Finding help evaluate how effectively the principles are communicated and assimilated. Results can guide efforts to improve awareness and alignment with the NEP's objective. Do you believe the NEP is relevant to your personal development? In figure 6 of the pie chart graph, a total of 25 responses were collected. Categories as follows: 44% strongly agreed, 80% agreed, 48% were natural, disagreed, or strong disagreed. So result indicate a diverse perception of the NEP relevance. A significant portion strongly supports its role in personal development. Nearly half of the respondents remain natural or skeptical. The survey likely aimed to assess the perceived influence of the NEP on personal growth. Findings help educators and policymakers tailor approach to improve acceptance and effectiveness.
And my name is Yugita Shantakumar. Today I would like to talk about the student viewpoints from the survey that we have done. The survey assessed the effects of the national education philosophy on various dimensions of growth: intellectual, emotional, physical and spiritual. A total of 25 responses were collected, categorized as follows, where 32% of them believed the NEPs as a very significant effect. However, the 8% perceive a somewhat significant effect. Meanwhile, the 56 are neutral, we feel it has minimal impact or do not feel an influence at all. The result shows a mix of experience, with some reporting strong influence, while some remain neutral and skeptical. The survey aimed to evaluate the NEP's success in fostering comprehensive personal development. This finding helped educators and policymakers assess its effectiveness and identify areas for improvement. However, some individuals find the NEP highly beneficial. There is room for enhancement to increase its relevance and also the impact.
Hi, I'm Morgan Vijayan. My conclusion is, the study highlights the importance of student collaboration with teachers and parents to create a growth-focused program. It also emphasized the need for students to stay informed and adapt to evolving developments for lifelong learning. The research underscored the potential of fostering community development by instilling human values through national policy on education. I would like to provide few recommendations. First, encourage proactive student engagement with teachers and parents to promote holistic growth. Second, ensure continued support from educators for lifelong learning. Third, conduct further qualitative research to bridge the gap between theoretical findings and real-world application. Thank you.